Cheers. Now in the meantime, if you're one of the 350 guys, what do you think of the Marsh Grey now with the black rack? Just arrived, sort of looks pretty good on the bike, and haven't bolted it on yet, but it's there for when I get around to it. Now I've been involved with these Classic 500s and had them over a period of 10 years. Had quite a few new Euro 3 models, so Euro 3 really go from about 2009 up to about 2017. I came into the field at 2012, and probably from 2012 up to 2017 bought about 10 of them. So I got a really good idea how these bikes go. Now, one thing that you probably wouldn't be aware of if you're out buying one of these bikes now, in the early days if you bought one of these, and that was any bike I'd bought from 2012 up to 2017, when the Euro 4s came out, they made it a little bit different. Well, believe it or not, with every bike you bought, you got a little pack with it. It come with an 18-inch tube, a 19-inch tube, either 1 or 2 cans of paint. If it was a solid colour like a black, you just get a can of black paint. But if it was a example Lagoon Blue or one of the other ones, you'd get 1 can of the black paint, 1 touch-up can of the blue paint. Pretty good solid size cans too. You'd also get 2 throttle cables, 1 clutch cable. They'd give you 2 large spanners and toss in a spark plug too. So that was the kit you used to get with every new bike up until 2017. After the Euro 4s come in to 18, Royal Enfield became really miserable then, and then after that decided they were going to give nothing away. So these bikes originally come from the factory with a Bosch spark plug. Now the spark plug itself wasn't much, well, I never thought it was much anyway. It was really just a mongrel sort of a spark plug where if you were out using a tickler on these or on the bi-starter on the 500s and from a new bike, they were a real terror to get going. They'd go out there with that Bosch plug in it, you'd ride at 5 or 10 kilometres, pull over, all of a sudden it'd foul up, wouldn't start, it wouldn't run really nice, it was just running too rich all the time, and that was the biggest problem with these bikes during the run-in. Oh yeah, but I got a Bosch plug in mine and mine's running really well. Well, what I'm going to tell you next, yours might be running good now, but I'm pretty sure I can improve it and it'll run better. All you do is head to your local Super Cheap or Auto Parts Outlet, and if that's not available, just go to a Honda lawnmower outlet shop, and what you're chasing is an NGK BPR 6ES. Now it doesn't matter if it's a BPR, meaning resistor, or BP 6ES, as long as it's NGK. Now the best thing about these spark plugs is all you've got to make sure, and I've got a new plug in hand, is what you just got to make sure. It says the plug in question, just make sure that when you buy it, they make 2 different ones. They make it with a solid cap and they make it with a threaded cap. Make sure the one you've got is the one you can unscrew the cap off, the little thread here, off the top of the spark plug. And once you can do that thing, well, you'll be able to put it into your bike and go from there and then put your cap back on. But if you try it the other way and you can't get the thing on, well, you won't be able to fit the plug. Just there to head to your nearest local Honda lawnmower outlet. That's the same plug which goes into the Honda lawnmower. So if you haven't got a parts store locally, or whichever way you want to get one for, so once you pick up those spark plugs, all you've got to do is come back to your bike, pull the cap off, pull the plug out, don't even worry about gapping the plug, put the plug straight in. I never gapped, out of the 10 new ones I had, I never gapped that plug once, and straight away you'll notice a difference in how the bike performs. So if you're wondering what are you going to get for your $4 to $10, whatever the plug costs you, wherever you buy it from, what you're going to get straight off is a bike that kicks over a lot easier, and more importantly, it'll idle a lot better too. It'll idle really sweet. It'll just idle away there. I wouldn't say it'll give you more performance, but it'll be more get up and go when you twist that throttle. So you're just picking up where the Bosch sort of fails, I think. And like I said, there'd be people out there saying there's nothing wrong with the Bosch. Well, that's all right, those people can just keep their Bosch, but I'm telling you, as a guy that's had 10 of these in the Euro 3s, try one of these NGK plugs in it, and then just come back and leave a comment and just say you were right, Warro, the bike runs better. That's all you got to do. And I'm pretty sure that for the few dollars, it'll be the cheapest mod you'll do to the bike. Every one of these bikes, or the Euro 3 I bought new, every one of them I did this mod to and replaced the spark plug straight away, because in the early couple of bikes I had, before I was aware of it, I had a lot of trouble with the bike fouling, stopping out along the road, running warmer, all with that Bosch plug. So that's one good thing. You know, like this idea works, and it works well on the Euro 3s. Now, if you go and say to me, well, in that case, what about if I go iridium plug in the same thing? No, don't waste your money on that, because in the beginning, and from 2012 to 14, when I was buying them, I was actually going one up in the step there and putting iridium straight in and over going the standard stock one, because I thought the iridium would work better. But at $25 a throw here in Oz, it was just a waste of money. And I found in the end, after I got through them, just the standard plug worked as good as the iridium, a lot cheaper. The iridium never made it go any better, and saved yourself some dollars. So when you look at it that way, you don't need the iridium, you just need the stock one. Switch it in, see how it goes. I'm pretty sure you're going to be impressed by it. That'd be the number one tip I can give you on this one. Whether you've got a Euro 3 or a Euro 4 and a 500, the best example is all Euro 3 bikes have got a rear drum brake. So when they went to Euro 4, then they brought in a different swing arm, and then they brought in ABS, and they also brought in a rear disc. So that's the best way to pick it. If you've got a drum brake, you've got a Euro 3. Now, while we're at it, somebody might say, well, will the spark plug work in the Euro 4? Well, I think you'd be wasting your time there, because I had about, I think it was 4 Euro 4s in the 500. And more importantly, what they did when they went to Euro 4, they did a couple of things to the bike, which in the beginning I wasn't aware of, until one day when I ripped out the right-hand side cover and found it from there. But the first thing they did was a different tune on the ECU for the Euro 4 bikes. So when I first got to the Euro 4, I was thinking, gee, these are quicker than the old Euro 3s. And, you know, you didn't have to do anything. They just performed a lot better, although they did have a bit of a jerky throttle too. But that was one thing. And I was thinking, they must have just tuned the motor to run a lot better. And then one day I went into the side casing, and the reason I went into the side casing, the bike ran that well, I decided to put up a bigger front sprocket on it. I was going to put in a vibration plate, and then I was going to rip out the decompressor while I was at it too, because I've done that to a few of the bikes too. So the thing is, when I removed the right-hand side casing, I had to look at it and I thought, gee, that's a small sprocket on the front. And up until then I'd had no idea. But what happened when Enfield went to Euro 4, they did a different bit of a slight tune on the computer, and apart from that, they put in a front sprocket which was one tooth smaller in size than what was on the Euro 3s. And that's why when you got onto a Euro 4, they performed quicker, because the gearing had been changed and they were sort of a little bit more snappier in the pickup. And the new ECU was a lot better compared to the old one anyway, because the old one was pretty primitive. Same computer, it was in at the ECU from 2009 up to 2017, and nothing changed all that way along. But when they went Euro 4, they give the ECU a different workout. In actual fact, I think it was a different shape box and everything. So, you know, they went into it pretty well. That must have been so everything could be working with the ABS brakes and the other things on it. And then they decided to upgrade that, or remove one tooth from the front sprocket to make it look like it was a bit more powerful, or it went well, because I still remember back in 18 when I got the first one, and I got on, I thought, geez, these go good now compared to the previous models. And but it was all an illusion, just because of a front sprocket change into a smaller one and a little bit of a tune different on the ECU. But apart from that, if you've got a Euro 4, there's not much you can do. Like, they run pretty well anyway, so you know, like apart from jerky throttle, nothing else there. So that covers Euro 3, Euro 4 with the spark plug side of things. If these videos keep going ahead afterwards, if I get the view on this ride and cook, you know, I'll put up a good tip up for 500 owners on every clip if it comes to that. But at this stage I'll just have to see how it goes, because I think this clip with the ride and cook took me 3 times longer than if I would have put up a normal clip. So there's a fair bit of work, so You know, I'm not going to go out there and ride around, spend a lot of time if I don't get the views to make it worth my trouble. So, but the main thing is I'll give you a good tip here with the NGK spark plug, and I think you'll be 100% satisfied once you put one straight in. If I had one of these bikes now, somebody told me this, I'd head straight to the shop, buy a plug, and just see how it goes or not. What do you got to lose? Just a few bucks. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, and catch you later.